So my name is Surbhi Kumar, and I am the founder of the Dreamcatchers, which is an education consulting venture of mine. So let me start with telling you a little bit about the Dreamcatchers. I hope all of you can see the slide well. Let me know, just put it on chat if you face any issues. So as I mentioned, we are an education consulting firm, and our mission is to assist students in realizing their dream of obtaining a quality and best fit education. And how do we do that? So as you would agree, for grade 9th and 10th student, the immediate need is to assist them with the stream and subject selection. And for grade 11th and 12th, it is primarily the college and course selection. So we conduct a psychometric assessment test, which really tests the students' aptitude, help identify their interest types and personality traits. On the basis of this aptitude, personality, and interest, a detailed career fitment report gets generated. Now, in that career fitment report, you'll see top 10 career clusters, which can be explored further by the student. The important point to note is that psychometric assessment is just a starting point, but through our individualized and personalized counseling sessions, we provide students with detailed career entry pathways and action plans as needed, which may be best aligned to them. Now, we also operate in the higher education admission guidance space, and our services primarily include profile assessment and building, country and course shortlisting, best fit college mapping, letter of recommendation and statement of purpose guidance, scholarship guidance, interview preparation, and visa guidance. So that was about the Dreamcatchers. So let me first tell you about the session lineup today. So what you can expect in next 45 to 50 minutes. So we'll talk about actuarial science. I'll give you an overview about this career, what it is, and what are the day-to-day roles and responsibilities. What are the skills and competencies which are needed to thrive in this career? Ideal subject combinations, ideal extra or super curricular activities. What are the common or popular college pathways for this particular career? Top colleges in India and across the globe, recruiters in India and across the globe. And highlight of our session today is the fireside chat with Abhishek Madhavan, who is an established actuary professional with over 15 years of experience in the field of actuaries. We'll try to keep some time for Q&A as well. So I request all of you to keep posting your questions in the chat box, and depending upon the time we have in hand, we'll pick a few. Note that questions which you will pose in the chat box will only be visible to the host and co-host of the session today. Okay, so I know that you must have, like, especially people who are joining us from India, it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. You would have just have your lunch. So let's just do a small warm-up quiz. So it's like a fill in the blank. I'll read out the statement and you can start posting your answers in the chat box itself. A good career for someone who loves mathematics is... Nice. Okay, I have started receiving few responses. Jia says CA. Mirai says professor. Okay. How about others? We have close to 22 participants right now. Actually, yes, for sure. Statistician, good one, Parina. Investment banker. Nidhi says there are multiple choices. Yeah, just name a few, whatever comes to your mind. Analyst, analytics. Okay. Nice. Good. Okay. So let's continue with the session, and definitely you all are on right track, and actuary is one of the profession which is suited for people who have knack for mathematics. So let's just start with the basics. Okay, so who is an actuary? An actuary is a person qualified to calculate financial and commercial impact and valuation of uncertainty and risk of future events. And how do they do it? They use advanced techniques and models to do so. Now, the subject in itself, that is actuarial science, what it is the science and art of arithmetically and scientifically assessing the risk which is present in a situation. It could be risk related to a business investment. It could be related to insurance or any other financial investment. And what they do, they make use of mathematics and statistics to a greater extent. Now, I feel like right now, actuary as a profession does not have too much awareness. But even if those of you who know about actuary, they just know of insurance as one sector where there is an application. So definitely insurance is one specialty track, both life and non-life. But there are others as well. For example, in creation of employee benefits plan, in retirement benefit plans, specifically pension plans, in finance and investment, enterprise risk management it's coming up big time now, government schemes, and the latest one is climate change or climate risk, right? That's also where there is an application for actuaries. Okay. Now, this is a very important slide, and I want all of you to pay complete attention to it, because this will help you understand what this profession entails and how you can prepare yourself better for this profession. So firstly, let's talk about roles and responsibilities. It involves developing and testing hypotheses about different risk factors, gathering and analyzing data, doing a lot of predictive analysis, which basically means assessing the likelihood of different events occurring and predicting the possible impact, researching on common and uncommon risk factors, auditing company policies to determine the risk, and that's especially on the enterprise risk management side, solutioning for managing financial risk, filling out and updating risk registers for projects, and again, it's primarily done in the enterprise setup itself, presenting the complex statistics and concepts in a simpler way to stakeholders and company management. Now, just keep these roles and responsibilities in mind and try to map the skills and competencies, which I'll just mention, and just see like how it is mapping there. Now, when we talk about skills, the numeracy billions or being very good at calculus and probability is a skill which is needed. Being highly proficient in statistics, definitely needed. High analytical skills, high reasoning skills, both deductive and inductive. Having good knowledge of data science concepts, because you'll have to deal with huge amount of data. Being good at complex problem solving. Being good at data modeling skills. And having knowledge of different softwares, which could include on the database side, on the statistical analysis side, on the data modeling side. And I've mentioned a few softwares which are usually used by actuaries professionals as such. Communication skills, definitely no career today which doesn't need this skill. Okay. Now, when we talk about ideal subjects to study, just keep in mind that actuaries is a neutral career. So what do I mean by neutral career? That you do not need to be from a specific stream. You can be from science, you can be from commerce, humanities, arts. But what is mandatory is having mathematics as a subject. Other than that, you can come you can take PC, B, you can really take commerce, you can take any of the sociology subjects. It doesn't make much of a difference. But what we are recommending as ideal subjects, you can consider that, though not mandatory except mathematics. So statistics, computer science and data science, economics. Okay. Now talking about the supercurricular and extracurricular activities. So difference between supercurricular and extracurricular activity is primarily supercurricular activities are those which will hone your specific skills focused on that profession. When we talk about extracurricular activities, these are like broad activities which will help you in other foundational skills. Okay, so when it comes to actuaries, participating in mathematics club, statistics club, computer science club would really help you a lot. Even participating in maths olympiads and even actuarial science olympiads. So Institute of Actuaries of India, they conduct actuarial science olympiads. Participating in math competitions or hackathons, taking data analysis projects, and even if you can get an opportunity to do an internship at an insurance firm, leverage that. But keep in mind, it should not be for selling insurance policy, but for doing some data specific projects itself. When it comes to extracurricular activities, playing board games, solving puzzles, solving Sudoku, something which can really help you in that mental exercise or brain agility. Okay. Let's move on. Now, again, this is the time for another short quiz, and you will shortly know that why I'm asking this question. So I'll put this quiz as a Zoom poll. So just put your response via that poll itself. Okay. And let me read the statement as well for you. I hope all of you can now see the poll on the screen. Okay, so psychometric assessments are based on single evidence and hence must be supplemented with other information gathered through interaction with the student. The assessment cannot be used in isolation, and a multitude of factors should be considered while zeroing down on career options. So I have started seeing few responses already. Okay. Okay, so majority of you have responded, and let me just share in the poll now and share the results. So all of you are right. It's the correct statement. And now let me give you some understanding of psychometric assessment as a tool itself. So it is a standardized test or evaluation designed to measure an individual's psychological traits, abilities, aptitudes, and personality characteristics. These assessments are typically used in various contexts, but for our purpose, primarily for career and professional needs, these assessments often involve a series of questions or tasks that aim to quantify and measure specific aspect of an individual's psychological makeup. This should not be used in isolation, but together with gathering information from students during the counseling session. Now, as you would see on the screen right now, I have tried to give some understanding here in terms of the aptitude, personality, and interest, which are best aligned for an actuary as a profession. When we talk about aptitude, being high on numerical and reasoning would really be helpful for a person who is targeting to make his career in actuarial science and different specific specialization tracks I spoke about. But when it comes to verbal, mechanical, or spatial, even if it is low to medium, it should be okay. What you should be focusing on, increasing your numerical aptitude and reasoning aptitude. When it comes to personality, what is the most important is that this person should be organized and focused. Even if the person is an introvert, that should be fine. But it is important that the person is organized and to a larger extent, realistic and practical. Now, when it comes to interest, having conventional and investigative. So what is conventional? Again, being very structured, being organized, being very meticulous in analysis. Investigative, being research oriented, knowledgeable, and curious, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is that whenever you take a psychometric assessment test and you get the result and you realize that, okay, these are my aptitude, personality, and interest. And if this career is something which is looking exciting to you, you know the area, especially on the aptitude side, which you can work upon. And there are different means through which you can build your aptitude in that direction. That's the only motive of me talking about psychometric assessment results for actuary as a professional. Okay, let's move on. Now, next, I wanted to talk about the common entry pathways, or also known as the college pathways for actuaries as a profession. The first one, as I said, like you can come from any subject stream, but you should have mathematics. So if we talk about the first pathway, you can do your bachelor's in mathematics and statistics, and you can, from a college standpoint, you can just stop there, but we'll talk about other things shortly. Now, when we talk about pathway 2, you can again take any undergraduate degree. But what we recommend is taking economics or being like commerce or BCom undergraduate, computer science or data science, doing your BBA. These are some preferred options as such. Now, if you want to do a focused bachelor's program, there is an option to do bachelor's in actuarial science as well. Now, if you want to really specialize further, you can do both bachelor's and master's in actuarial science itself. So these are some of the college pathways. But what is most important here is getting membership of Institute of Actuaries of India. And this is one institute. We'll talk about few others. So just to make things little relatable for some of the students here. So chartered accountancy is a career which many of you would be aware, and you would know that for being a chartered accountant, you need to be member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and you have to give a lot of exams and you have to take internships. So in terms of journey, if it is similar to that, so basically you will have to clear an entrance exam. Then once you clear an entrance exam, which is called Actuarial Common Entrance Test, which is something which you can give after class 12, you can become a student member of Institute of Actuaries of India. Then if you clear few of the actuarial exams, then you get an associate membership. Once you clear all the 13 subjects, you can get a fellow membership, or you can become an actuary itself. Keep in mind that it's a long journey and it requires a lot of study hours. So you should be really, really focused in even doing these exams, because the Institute of Actuaries of India, it has a less pass rate. Okay, and we'll talk about few other things as well. So this is very important aspect to keep in mind, because once you start your journey, it's not that it will end in just 3 years. It can take 5 to 8 years, but the beauty is you can start it immediately after your class 12. Now, once you clear few of your associate, like you clear few of your exams and become associate member, that's the time that you start looking for job opportunities at insurance companies, finance and banking institutions, consulting firms, government organizations, even healthcare companies. Because besides clearing the exams, you need to have a work experience of minimum 3 years to be a qualified actuary. Okay. Now, when we talk about the actuarial entrance exam, which you can give after class 12, there is a direct entry route too. What that means is you can take exemption from this exam. But then I would really suggest you, because it's a long list of exemption, you can go to actuariesindia.org/direct entry and you can see the requirements there. But keep in mind, it's more like if, just to give you one example, if someone has done their bachelor's from a statistical institute at Kolkata, then they're exempt from ACET. So there are a lot of other courses. If you're taking that, then you would be exempt from that. In terms of exam structure, it's primarily maths, statistics, English, data interpretation, and logical reasoning. Now, when it comes to actuarial exams, we did speak about Institute of Actuaries of India, but also note that there are other international societies or professional bodies across the globe, like Institute of Faculty of Actuaries UK, Actuaries Institute Australia, and Society of Actuaries US, to name a few. Now, Indian students, they prefer to take exams from Institute and Faculty of Actuaries UK. Reason being, there is no entrance test. Secondly, for the exams, the pass rate is higher. Now, even if you have done your qualification from Institute and Faculty of Actuaries of UK, you can very much practice in India as well. There are no constraints like that. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Now we'll move to the next slide, which talks about courses which you can take at bachelor's and master's level, and different countries where like actuarial science courses which are provided are in depth and quite known too. So closer to our home, the destination is UK. They provide different flavors of actuarial science, again at bachelor's level as well as master's level. Now, even Australia provide a lot of actuarial science courses. Same is the case with US and Canada. Now, each of these countries, they have their own professional body, which is something which we spoke about earlier as well, except like I didn't mention Canadian Institute of Actuaries. But just keep in mind that if you have completed your actuarial, I would say, course from Institute of Actuaries of India, so basically you have cleared all the exams there, then you can, you don't have to go ahead and take it from all the other countries, even if you want to practice there, because Institute of Actuaries of India, they have a recognition arrangement with all of these professional bodies, and they are expanding it across all different other actuarial bodies which are there in different countries. Okay, let's move on. Now, I wanted also to give you some understanding around different institutes which are, or like top institutes which are offering these bachelor's and master's courses. So when we talk about India, it's Institute of Actuarial and Quantitative Studies, which is under University of Mumbai. University of Madras also has actuarial science courses. Then there is an institute which is primarily a joint initiative of IRDAI, which is our Insurance Regulatory Authority, and Government of Telangana. And Amity and Christ are two private schools which have dedicated colleges as well as courses for actuarial science. Now, in US, Purdue University, NYU Stern, University of Wisconsin Medicine, Temple University is very much known for actuarial science courses, and specifically the Fox School of Business. University of Illinois. In Canada, also topmost universities like University of Waterloo, University of Toronto, McMaster, University of Calgary. The one which is not very much known among Indian students, which is like Simon Fraser University, but it is known for its actuarial science courses. Moving to UK, University of Oxford, London School of Economics, Heriot-Watt, Warwick, University of Southampton, Bayes Business School, right? These are one which provide good actuarial science courses. Australia, University of Melbourne, University of New South Wales, Monash, Australian National University, and Macquarie University. Just to give you some understanding of which are the topmost institutes in each of these countries offering good actuarial science courses. Now, I also wanted to give all the students out here an understanding of like where you can expect to start working if you get into the field of actuaries. So specifically insurance companies, both public and private. So LIC, GIC, National Insurance, in private sector, ICICI Prudential. When we talk about global companies, Prudential, Munich Re, Swiss Re, actuaries can also work in consulting firms, all the big four names you can think of, Aon, Willis Towers Watson, Deloitte, banking and financial institutions like HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, Citi, IMF, Government Institute of IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare, Ministry of Labor and Employment, and Australian Government Actuary, Medicare.gov, which is for US, right? Government Actuaries Department. Even in healthcare sectors, Tata Health, United Health Group, Mercer. For corporates, in the risk management role specifically. So Tata's, Reliance of the world, Amazon, GE, right? This will give you some understanding of where all you can expect to work. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and I know I provide a lot of details. So if you would want to understand how you can target your profile better for these colleges, right? What all you need to do, what's the application strategy, you can just take appointment with us and we would be happy to serve you. So with that, I'm coming to the highlight of this session today, which is our fireside chat with Abhishek Madhavan. So I hope he has joined by now. Hey, good morning.
But I am here.
Okay, no worries. So for everyone, let me just give you a brief intro of Abhishek. Abhishek did his Bachelor of Actuarial Science from Bayes Business School, UK, and he is a fellow of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, UK. He started his career in 2006 with Munich Re as an analyst, and then joined Aon as an associate and grew up in the organization to be an associate partner. He's based out of London, and surely given his vast experience in the actuaries field, I'm sure all the students who have joined us today will benefit by hearing from him. So without further ado, let us kickstart our fireside chat with him. I know he's under the weather today, so still thank you, Abhishek, for joining us. I know you have a bad throat, but we'll try our best to give students all the inputs they are looking for.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, if you can't hear me, let me know. My voice is on the cusp of breaking, but let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now. I hope others as well, if anyone can just confirm on the chat. Were you able to hear Abhishek? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dhruv. Thank you, Nidhi. So yeah, let's try that, Abhishek. So I'll just ask a question straight off the bat itself. What really inspired you to pursue a career in actuarial science?
It's a very good question. So when I did my 12th in India at Ruparel, I did science. And after that, the only option, not the only option, the common option was engineering or medicine. And I didn't want to do either. I didn't feel like I wanted to be an engineer. I studied for IIT, I did the JEE. I wasn't very keen. And then I Googled kind of maths-based degrees globally, and Actuary came up, and I didn't know what it was. I took a punt. It worked out, but it was luck more than anything else.
Okay, so accidentally you got into this
So,
profession.
absolutely. I had no idea what
Okay, okay. So in terms of like educational background, I know like definitely you have to get associated with different professional bodies, but besides that, what do you think is valuable for someone as a stream of subjects if they plan to pursue a career in this field?
So I think there's no right answer.
Yeah.
It's something analytical is helpful. So maths obviously helpful. But I have colleagues who did like geology and chemistry and like physics. It's something that has analysis, something that has statistics, maths, but
Okay.
it doesn't have to be an actuarial degree or a pure maths degree, but they help. So anything that is a bit quantitative, is a bit analytical, is is the place to start.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so even like I was telling the students during the overview session itself, so it doesn't matter from which stream you really come
No,
in,
no,
right?
no.
So it's like stream neutral career itself.
Extreme neutral, and the exams will teach you what you need to know. But having maths, stats, economics background just makes it easier to take the exams, pass the exams, and develop as an actuary.
Okay. Okay, so my next question to you is just throw some light on the career path of an actuary and what kind of professional opportunities and advancement one can expect in this profession.
Okay, so I will. Like, I've only worked here, so I'll give you from a UK perspective, but it probably works globally. um, so actuaries can work effectively in any industry. I feel like it doesn't matter because you've got the the right skill set of analysis and communication, which is very key. Um, Traditionally, actuaries work in insurance, so life insurance, general insurance. I work in employee retirement benefits, pension plans, so I work in risk management of them. I have colleagues who work in banks, in asset managers. It's anywhere that's analysis involved. So I don't think there's a narrow scope. It's quite a wide scope, and it's transferable skills because you're learning analysis and maths, which most industries will take you on. In-house companies will take you on. So it's yeah, it's I mean, yeah, everyone thinks actuaries work in insurance, and that's the traditional kind of place we work in, but it's not true. I think it's a very wide range of places you can apply your skills to.
Okay, okay. Mhm. So it has application in different industries, right? But yeah, but I think what is more popular has been insurance, and what has been like upcoming is climate change or climate risk. Is that the correct understanding?
So it is, I think, it is a big focus of a lot of companies now to be at least seen to be compliant with climate rules and embrace
Yeah.
climate change. So we as actuaries have people who work on that. There's regulation in the UK where you need to satisfy certain climate requirements as a company. So we have a team fully focused on doing climate work.
Great.
Again, it's the skills are the similar skills, so it's transferable skills. And as the world evolves and new things come in, I don't think an actuary skills get outdated because it's just flipping your skills to a different industry, but you can still use it very widely.
Got it. Okay. Can you just provide some kind of overview in terms of like roles and responsibility which an actuary profession generally has, and what is your typical day like?
Again, it'll differ from industries. So for me, like when you start off, for example, it's a lot of analysis. You'll be looking at Excel spreadsheets and data and kind of analyzing data, but the goal is to eventually communicate that to a non-actuarial audience. So it's very important. The communication is very strong because a lot of your clients, a lot of your colleagues might not be actuaries. They might not have a maths background.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the CEOs might not have a maths background, for example, but you need to get the key points across. So a lot of analysis and then converting that into bullet points, into key messaging, into little bites that they can take away, useful information they can act upon. So it's a mix of maths and it's a mix of kind of converting that into a simple messaging.
Okay, okay. And what kind of, like you mentioned Excel already, but still, I think it will really help all the students out here to understand like what kind of tools or softwares you are making use of and what kind of proficiency is needed in that.
So I think nowadays, I guess the IT is a big part of being an actuary because you have to use the softwares and tools. Each company will have their in-house tools and models that they will use to run, but they're usually based on either Excel-based tools or there'll be coding languages like C#, .NET, Python, SQL. It'll be like based on other languages. They might have built a tool in-house.
Okay.
But if you are a good programmer, if you have like C#, .NET programming skills, or if you've got a programming knowledge, I have lots of colleagues who are actuaries by profession, but full-time coders now building software
Okay.
for us, for banks, for insurers, because they understand the requirements, they understand the risk, they understand the problem, but they can code it into efficient solution. That is very like a lucrative part of the business now. So I don't do that because I didn't get on the boat early enough, but coding is very, very helpful now. So especially actuaries who can code are like gold dust. You can get a job wherever. So
Nice. Okay. Okay. So generally, like you mentioned, every organization, they will develop their own in-house software for their team of actuaries. Okay. Okay. But whatever you learn through that or whatever skills you get in terms of using that software would be transferable as well if you.
yes, I think the software would be different, but the
Mhm.
principles are the same. So they're all using the same actuarial principles. They can all link back to the studies you do as an actuary. They'll use the same methods, the same models, the same statistical models, but applied on a different front user interface. So it doesn't matter of what the actual tool is, but the backing maths is similar, the analysis is similar, the regulation, each country is similar. So it won't be very different. So some companies will have a more friendly front end that you can just input a number and answers come out, but the maths will be the same.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So my next question, I think it would be very much relevant again for our audience here because they are primarily like high school students, majority of them. So, and this is their time to really focus on building the right skills, building different competencies. So in that light, what do you think are the key skills and competencies which is needed to really be successful in this career? So one is like you enter in that profession, that's fine, but how you can really thrive well in that profession?
I think the most important nowadays is communication. I think you need to be able to communicate not only the solution, but you need to be able to effectively promote yourself as well. So you need to be able to speak well, be confident, be comfortable talking to large groups, to seniors, to clients, because that is kind of the main reason how you will progress is that you are seen as the face, the voice, the person who can communicate ideas. But backing that, you do need technical skills. And nowadays, a big focus is on computing and on data analysis and kind of data mining because data is big.
Yeah.
So having a background in data analysis or computing or just maths is very, very beneficial. But yeah, I think when I interview someone, the maths, everyone has done the degree, right? Everyone's got a first from university. So how do we differentiate? It is communication. It is how you present yourself, how you sell yourself, how you can express ideas in a simplified manner, because that is the crux of what we do. Is we, like for example, I work for a pension fund, and some of the trustees of a pension fund, they work for a coal mining company, so they have no idea about finance or maths, and their job is to organize the coal mines and things like that. But to communicate the risks, to communicate the maths to them, that is like very as important as communicating it to a banking director. So you have to be able to pivot and communicate ideas to any range of audiences.
Okay, okay. And one other thing, like generally with these career awareness session, I want to give students the both side of the coin. So basically,
Mm.
what are the pros or what are the lucrative aspects of a career? But more than that, like what are some of the challenges like which are in a specific career? So when it comes to actuaries, what are the challenges which you deal with, and what kind of tactics or strategies you really apply to overcome those challenges?
So I think when you start, the biggest challenge is the exams. Um, it's it's not easy. It's well, it's not easy, and there's a lot of them. So very important is time management. It's balancing your work with your exams, but making sure you don't lose focus on the exams, because I know work pressures come and people are pushing you for deadlines, but
Mhm.
you have to be selfish. You have to also set that time aside to make sure you devote enough time to the exams, because they do help you progress as an actuary and qualify. So that balance is very, initially it's a hard thing to master of how much time do you spend in the office, how much time do you study, and it's hard. When you get into the hang of that, I think you develop routines, you develop ways of dealing with that. But the main thing is, don't let the studies go to the back of the queue, and you focus on the work because your boss is pushing. But you have to be a little bit selfish, otherwise you don't pass exams, and that's kind of progress is stalled. So that is important. Further on in life, I think the main skills are, I think it's being, time management, it's being proficient, it's being, setting priorities, because everyone's going to ask you for things all the time.
Mm.
And that's not actually, it's just in a professional life, you have the same problems, right? It's
Yeah.
managing deadlines, managing clients, managing internally and externally to make sure. And again, communication falls into a big part there, because you need to be clear that if a deadline is not achievable, you've got to be upfront and say, I can't do this in 2 days, I need 2 weeks. And if everyone knows that, it's fine. If the problem comes when a client says, you told me 2 days, and there was a miscommunication and everyone is stressed. So I think even then, communication is key, organization is key, time management is key, and just don't take life too seriously. I think you need to enjoy yourself as well. You can't just be studying and working. So having a bit of time off is helpful to kind of reset and you come back with a bit more focus and energy.
Yeah. When I was doing my research on this profession, definitely you mentioned a very important point, which is like you have to manage your work, your full-time work, and clearing all the exams. But what I gathered was like many of the organizations, they also have a friendly policy, which is more like exam prep policy.
Yeah.
And given if you clear these exams, you kind of like it is tied back to your advancement as well. Like you get promotions if you clear certain exams or so.
So I'll tell you how we do it here. And then, so when you start, most of my graduates have no exams or some exemptions.
Okay.
So you don't need to have any exams to start, but it's kind of, if you have them, again, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's that most companies, like consulting companies, insurance companies, have a study package. So apart from your salary, you get a study package, which is you get time off to study. So you get 40 days a year of studies. You can take that time off just to study. You get paid to all the tutorials, the materials, the notes, everything is paid for. So that's not like a burden for you. The subscription to the institute is paid for most companies.
Okay.
And each time you pass an exam, you get a pay rise. Depending on which exam, some are bigger pay rise, some are smaller. And as you qualify or as you get more exams, there is advancement within the company. You can be, a senior analyst or a junior, whatever. So it all ties back. That's why I say be selfish, because it's in your own interest. You are selfish, you get paid more, you progress faster. If you're not selfish, you do a great job, but you get stuck at a level. So I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of managing your time wisely, but exams are important. And at least in the UK, it's very supportive, especially during exam time. All the students are off, but the non-students, they pick up the work. They pick up the slack. The deadlines aren't, missed, but we know that the juniors are away, so we got to pick up the slack, and then they can come back and pick up the slack. So it's quite understanding, and because everyone's done it, everyone's been through it, we get it. It's hard, so people need time,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a lot of time to study. Some companies pay for you to do it twice. If you fail once, they still pay the second time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to pass the first time. It's not like frowned upon if you fail. I mean, everyone fails. It's a part of life, and that is a big shock for a lot of graduates because they come in and they've like topped their class and they're, whatever, I'm the first, I've always topped and whatever. And then first exam you fail. And you're like, am I good enough?
Pass rate is less as compared to.
And am I good enough? Is it worth it? Comes quite. And I think so I had a call last week from one of my juniors saying, I failed my exams. What do I do? I'm like, it's fine. Like, it's part of life. I mean, it's the first thing you failed in life. So you feel a bit upset, but every actuary has failed something. It's very unique that you don't fail an exam and you qualify as an actuary. So it's part of life. You learn, you move on, and it's just taking that in your stride, not letting it bog you down, putting it aside, focusing forward, and that's important as well.
Okay. So I am receiving few of the questions. So I'll just keep some time as well for those questions. So Parini, just bear with us. We'll try to pick your question as well. Okay, so moving on, we talked about challenges. Tell us something about the rewards of this profession.
Yeah, I mean, it's paid well. It's not, it's all relative, right? So you don't get trader, banker salaries. We don't get, it's a comfortable life. It's a good work-life balance. You get good support for your education. So a company, like I said, supporting for the exams. And you might leave that company, but that's okay because you just, they've supported you through your career. So you get that transferable skills. And in some industries, you actually get to help people as well, which is indirectly. For example, I work in pensions. In my junior years, I spent a lot of time, like one whole year, trying to avoid a pension scheme going bankrupt. So the pensioners get some money when they retire. So it was kind of, they didn't see that, I didn't see them, but that you've actually helped an older person get some income for the rest of his life. So it is rewarding as well in terms of which industry you're in. And I feel it's not a high pressure job like a banker. You have sensible hours. So you do have a life outside of work. You've got time to go out, see your friends, have a family, whatever. And in the UK now it's very flexible. You can work from home. You can work your hours around your priorities. So it's an understanding profession. It's also because everyone's gone through the whole exam. Everyone understands that you get a bit of slack when you're young. It's okay to go and study. You get that help. I think those are kind of, it's challenging, but it's also understanding and it's helpful, and it develops you to be successful not only in this profession, but if you choose to move to different professions, you take away skills which are quite unique and quite helpful.
So one other question which comes to my mind, and this is from my own experience itself, so when you talk about organization really sponsoring your studies and exams, right? So say, for example, I always wanted to do chartered financial analyst, and my ex-company, it was ready to sponsor the education, but at the same time, there was a bond which you have to sign. So basically, you have to be with the company for X number of years, right? Is that the case even with, no, okay.
Not for some companies might do that.
Okay.
I don't know of many who do that at the moment. So I have, yes, some companies said, if you pay for this, you stay for 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's not that common, I don't think, anymore here, at least here. So we have juniors, they do exams, and a few of them quit, move on to other companies, and they carry on their exams there. And we don't claw the money back. We don't ask for, pay us the exam fees. I mean, it's part of life. It's part of growth. It's part of normal employment that people come, people go. So I don't think like that. I mean, obviously, if you do every one exam, you leave a company every year, it'll look great.
That is also not looking good on the resume.
But there's most companies I know of don't force you to stay, and they if you want to leave.
Okay. My next question is since you started your journey in 2006, right? So pretty long period, almost 17 years. So what has really changed in the industry since the time like you started, and what you really see now, and any kind of future trends which you see coming and which would be like really insightful for students to know at this point of time.
Yeah, I think the main change is the profession has grown quite a lot. So when I started, there was not as many people who were aware or doing the job we did. And the work, as more people become actuaries and technology develops, the work you can deliver develops. So I think back in the day, we were spending tens and days doing a model. Now it takes minutes. It's a lot more efficient now, so you can do a lot more. Back then, we didn't have the luxury of doing more because we could barely do what we could with the systems and the tools in place. So infrastructure and IT is a big development that has helped speed things up, make things more efficient.
Okay.
We can deliver faster, better for clients. That is very key. Training has come a long way since then. Things like the juniors coming in now get a lot more training, a lot more development. Because when I jumped in, it was like, just figure it out. You just start the job and you figure it out. Whereas now there is like training programs that help you get the skills you need off the bat so that you don't feel lost, you don't struggle as much. So that's kind of very good. But also the landscape has changed. Like when I joined, it was a different world, and then the markets crashed, and the US crisis happened, and the credit crisis happened, and so the economic landscape is very different. Back then, I mean, it's changing back now, but back then there was like very high interest rates. Then everything fell, and it was very low interest rates, and the whole world was different. And now it's again very high interest rates. So the whole world keeps shifting, and you've got to adapt to the shift. So my majority of my career, I've known very low interest rates as normal, but that's not normal. That was a blip. And in history, it's been high rates that are normal. So for you to adapt is quite important. You need to keep adapting with the world, not only with the economic world, but the regulatory world, because in response to all these regulations change, and you can do some things and you're not allowed to do some things. You're going to adapt on how you deliver the work without being able to do certain things. So I think adapting is quite important. And we have been, as a profession, as a company, we've been adapting over time. And going forward, I see the same thing. I think it's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of new regulations coming in to make things even more difficult to do because because of all the losses from the crises, the governments are worried that another one will happen. So things are getting more restrictive. AI is happening. Things are happening in AI space. Again, there are certain aspects of an actuarial job that AI can help in, like customer service and communication and things like that. But there are certain aspects which I don't think is there yet. Like judgment is very important because we do a lot of work which is based on similar principles, but the outcomes can be very different depending on the situation of the company, the direction you're trying to take. So there's a lot of judgment, human judgment involved, which I think, well, it might happen in the future, but at the moment, AI doesn't emulate. AI uses the past to try and project, but given we are trying to project the future, we don't care about the past as much. I mean, we do, but our job is projecting the future, and that's quite difficult because it doesn't depend on the past. So it's a lot of judgment, a lot of analysis, which an AI model isn't quite there yet because it's still analyzing the past regressions and using that to project, but not taking into account changes in regulation, changes in environment, in economics, in government, in politics. So I think actuaries aren't outdated yet. We still have a little bit of life left in us. But yeah, I think that's the change so far.
Okay, so I think with that response, you also covered like one of the question which I wanted to ask around AI, and even Dhwani, who is one of our attendees, she also asked that question that like, because AI is a hot topic these days. So what kind
we
of
are exploring, like we have internal emails saying, how can we use AI to our advantage? So how can we use it to make us more efficient, to make us more quick in response times? There are uses for AI, and as AI develops, we'll find more uses. But in the core actuarial job, I haven't yet seen an immediate like use for AI without human intervention, without judgment applied on top of that.
So just like any technology, it would be more of a supportive role. Like I know in some professions, it's being talked about like AI can replace, but it's more like a supportive role, which it can.
I think for now, obviously, I don't know how AI is going to develop, but I still feel that because we are dealing with the future and we're dealing with projecting stuff and we're dealing with uncertainty, um, and most of the situations that arise are not the same as the past. Most of the crises we've had are similar themes, but they're very different. So AI will try and address them the same way because that's what they've learned. But the same solution won't fit a future problem. Always. It might do. So AI might work, but there might be a future problem based on the same economic criteria of a past problem, but very different repercussions. So I think having that judgment, having that analysis of a human touch is still going to be very important, at least in this profession.
Got it. So again, like this question, to an extent, you might have covered some bits and pieces of it. But again, we have like high school students here. And these days I see that students are too overwhelmed with like their studies and other things as well. So what advice would you give, or any kind of tips, like if this is a profession which, like by attending this session, if they think that they can consider it, besides like academics being one aspect, being good at mathematics or so, from a high school student perspective, what they can do now to really make themselves more ready for this profession, but do not overwhelm them with anything particularly?
So I mean, looking back, I mean, I know when I was in the 10th and 12th, I stressed about it. Looking back, it was a stress of the moment. In hindsight,
Yeah.
it doesn't, I'm not saying stop studying, but I don't think it matters as much, because I think a lot of the stuff you need to be good at your job, you learn on the job. Like I know that, getting 99 in PCB or PCM or whatever is like the dream, 100 or whatever it is nowadays. I don't know, back in the day it was in the 90s, it could be 100 now. But it's important, but I don't think it's important to stress to get good marks in the exam. The main thing is understanding and assimilating the information. I think knowledge is more important than an exam. I think exam is on a day, you could have a bad day. Doesn't mean you're bad, right? That's what I always tell people. Like you could get really low marks, which just could be an off day for you. But as long as you understand the principles, what you're trying to study, you don't study for the exams, you study for the knowledge. I think that is key, because that takes away the stress. You're studying something, you enjoy something, you're trying to understand something, and that be applicable in life. But I mean, I don't remember any of the studies I did in my 12th. I did physics and chemistry and stuff. I did tuitions and I got my marks, but zero use today, absolutely no use, because I don't know what I did. In my job, when I started, I've learned what I need to do. I've picked it up. It's experience. You work with like-minded people. You work with clever people. You get the knowledge. So I wouldn't, stress about exams and extracurriculars and ticking all the boxes and having 100, maths Olympiad. I mean, it's fine. It's good. It helps. But knowledge is important. And I mean, just being confident in yourself, in your communication, in having that belief that even if a day went bad doesn't mean you are bad. I mean, that is important, because, taking forward, moving on is very important. You don't have to stress about these things. I mean, yes, everyone says it's important. I get it. You should get marks to get the college. It is a rat race. It doesn't have to be. It can be better. But
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think
looking back, I could have done half my exams, like half my effort in 10th and 12th. I would still probably end up where I am.
Okay.
Because the knowledge I got and the knowledge I got on my job is important. Obviously, if you don't do well, you don't get the good college, you don't get the good support. I get all that. So you should aim to do exams well, but a slight loss here and there isn't the end of the world, and you should still have that belief in yourself and the confidence in yourself and the interest. I mean, if you're not interested, don't do it. I mean, a lot of my friends are engineering because that's the thing to do, right? I had hundreds of friends who went and did. And they don't work as engineers now. They don't work in anything remotely engineering right now. It was done because it was the thing to do. The expectation is on you. And I sat IIT, classes and stuff, but it just wasn't for me. And I think it's, understanding what you're good at, understanding what you're passionate about, and then focusing time on that is more important than ticking the boxes and working to a script and, getting the marks and all that stuff, because it's all great short term, but long term, I don't know how much it helps.
Great. I think these would be the words of wisdom for all of these school
But I'm
students.
not saying stop studying. Everyone studies still. Like do
Yeah,
your.
it should not be on one extreme, but
It's not
be
a
balanced.
binary option, but yeah, a balance in life is important because I've seen a lot of people do all this, and then by the time they're in college, they're burnt out. They just
Yeah.
don't want to do anymore. They just can't. And yeah, I don't. That's not healthy. So I think having a healthy lifestyle, having a good balance, extremes of anything is bad, but a good balance in life is always good. So study, but also have fun and just enjoy yourself and pursue your passions. I think that's quite important.
I think this should be really, really assuring to all the high school students here, because what I see like these days, kids are
It's
so
stressful.
stressed out
It's stressful.
unnecessarily, right? Being
Yeah.
self-aware, like doing something which really excites you is more important than following the herd, right?
I think that is the key, and that is kind of where a lot of my generation got stuck
Yeah.
because I mean I know a lot of friends who did engineering because just everyone is doing it. They didn't have any interest in it, but everyone is doing it, and none of them they all work in finance now because it didn't matter. But it was yeah. I think you should try and I think understand what you like, develop that passion, and maybe spend your time figuring out how to monetize that passion and be successful in a career in that passion because that is more important than just learning a theorem or a formula which will never be used ever again in life.
Got it. Uh, I know we are coming close to the hour here, Abhishek, but one question again, because again, this is something which was coming again and again in my research. And
Time away, yeah.
yeah, in the onset of the session itself, I made all the kids aware that maths is very important if you want to pursue a career in this field. But do you, like, from your experience and people around you, if someone doesn't have like a knack for mathematics, right, and maybe they enjoy it to an extent, but not like too much, right? Still they should consider this profession, or would that be a wrong trajectory?
I think I'll be honest, I think maths is important because if you want to be an actuary, you have to pass the exam, and the exams are hard and they have maths. So that is like, I don't think you have to enjoy maths, but you should be able to do it because there are other aspects of, I mean, eventually when you become an actuary, like currently in my role, I did a lot of maths when I was a lot more junior. Now it's more, meetings analysis, high level. So I don't do much actual maths anymore, but I needed it to get to a place where I don't need to do it, because I need to understand it. So having the understanding, having the awareness of that is important. And without enjoying maths, I think it'd be very hard to pass the exams because the exams, at least the first set, they keep changing their names, but the first 10 exams are quite maths based, and the last 3 to 5 are wordy. But you need to be maths and stats to pass them. And so it has to be some interest or at least aptitude for maths. Even if no interest, aptitude is quite important.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I found in my research, but I wanted to validate it with someone who has been in this profession for like 15
I
plus.
think you can do what an actuary does. Like you can do my job possibly without being an actuary. You can do a different career and do my job. You won't be an actuary, but you can work in a similar field as an actuary. So I have a lot of colleagues who work in pension investment, but not actuaries. But they're good consultants, so they understand the principles high level.
Okay.
If you ask them the math, they can't tell you, but they know why the answer is what it is. But they're very good at talking, at presenting, at communicating, so they can do the job as well as an actuary with less mathematical knowledge. A lot of like people have done English and lit and are still consultants, so you can do
Nice. Okay.
a similar job to an actuary without doing the actual profession.
Okay.
Just have different skills, have better communication skills, but you still need to understand basic concepts. So some kind of grasp of at least 10, 12 maths to understand the concept is very important, at least.
Okay. Okay. I know, like, I may have asked very loaded questions as well. So let's move on to the lighter side of the conversation. I'll just throw few rapid fire questions. So just respond back in terms of what comes to your mind as the first answer itself. Okay. So one fun fact about you, Abhishek.
In my younger days, I drove from London to Mongolia in a thing called the Mongol Rally. It took us like 5-6 weeks. There were 3 of us, and we drove across Europe and Asia for like 5 weeks to get there. So that was
Wow. So you are an adventurous one then.
I was before kids. Now I am a bit more passive.
Okay. If not an actuary, then what would you be?
I mean, every boy in India wants to be a cricketer, right? So I would have loved to play cricket as a career.
Okay.
Now I play on the weekends. I play on Saturdays for a local club. I still play. I still am passionate about it. I play cricket every weekend. But obviously, maths was the calling, I guess.
Okay. Okay. If you could have any one superpower, I just said one, what would that be?
Currently, I think it's functioning on low sleep would be very, very handy. With two young kids, like you don't get much sleep, but you still have to function. So that would be brilliant if I could do that.
I think many of us need it. Okay, one favorite book.
I haven't read books in a long time, but when I used to, it was kind of the mystery detective genre, like the Agatha Christie's, or even in India, I read like Feludas from Satyajit Ray. Like those kind of books what interested me back in the day.
Okay, okay. Any favorite quote?
I don't remember who said that. I was in one of the talks I was in a few weeks ago, and someone said, I don't know who the quote is from. It was something along the lines of, "You only have one life, but if you live it well, you don't need more than one," or something like that. So it's more, giving it your all, enjoying yourself, not stressing too much about it, and yeah, just having fun as you go along the journey.
Good, good. Nice to know that. Okay, so Abhishek, just if we can take few questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Dhruv is asking, can IAI actuaries work abroad? So people who have done their actuaries from Institute of Actuaries of India, can they work abroad? Does Institute and Faculty of Actuaries UK give an advantage in terms of working, for example, in the UK? So would you want to take that, Abhishek?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not fully sure is the answer, but I believe as long as you've got the key skills and competencies and you're certified as an actuary in a country, I don't think it should be a barrier.
Yeah.
So I have colleagues in India who work for like Aon who do take the UK exams, but I'm sure if you take the Indian exams, they do recognize each other mutually. So I don't think it should be an issue because, again, it's the skills that matter. If you can do your job, I don't think anyone cares where you've got the knowledge from.
Yeah. So yeah, Dhruv, like I can answer that question on the basis of my latest and greatest research. So yes, if you have done your actuaries course from Actuaries of India, you can work in UK as well. And that's what I mentioned in one of the slides. It is something which is an arrangement which Institute of Actuaries of India has made with other actuarial societies. So that should not be a problem. You had a follow-up question as well. Is there any other advantage to do from Institute of Faculties of Actuaries instead of IAI other than the better pass rate? One is that you don't have to necessarily give the actuarial common entrance test, which is mandatory if you go ahead and try to do your actuarial exams from Institute of Actuaries of India. So if you like after your 12th, though there are certain exemptions there. But yeah, the major advantage is pass rate, because what I have gathered, the syllabus structure of Institute of Faculty of Actuaries of India, of UK is simpler than the Indian one. But one other thing is some of the content which is taken by IAI from UK Institute itself. So I hope that answers your question. There is one other question from, 1 second, from Arav. Can you give an example of actuarial science being used in a climate change project? Any inputs from your side, Abhishek, on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do that. So we have a team who work on scenarios on like they have different climate scenarios. So what if the temperatures rose by 1 degree or 1.5 or 2, or it fell by 1? So there's different scenarios and how that would impact the global economies. They project different scenarios and then they project like a company's assets under those scenarios, say if this happened, which direction your company would go in and how would your assets end up. Or so it's kind of scenario projection, taking the assumption if this happened, how that would impact the economy, how that would impact the physical world we live in, and that would feed into the markets and everything. So I mean, we have people working especially on this to work out different ways the economic scenario could play out. And they have things like what if the government intervenes, or what if there is stricter regulation, or what if there is no intervention, and what if the world, the G20, whatever, come up with. So they have different scenarios. And they play out how that would impact different markets, how that would impact different industries. So that is kind of work that actuaries would work in, trying to project the future as to different paths of uncertainty we can take and where we might end up with a good probability.
Okay, I hope Arav, it helped you. But definitely there are a lot of applications in terms of climate area when it comes to actuaries as such. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of our session. So again, thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us today. I know you were not keeping well, but I really appreciate you keeping your commitment. And
hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was something useful for everyone.
I hope so. So all of the students and parents out here, I hope you found it helpful. And if you have any more questions, you would want to understand again how you can really target your profile towards specific courses, feel free to reach out to us. I have put our phone number, our email address, and we are there on different social media platform as well. I would be happy to serve you and answer your questions. Thank you once again, and staying for like little longer than an hour. I appreciate everyone's patience here.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Have a good one.